Hello and welcome to Customs Practice, where we're going to practice our way onto passing the U.S. Customs Broker's exam. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, like if you found this video useful, and share with your friends and colleagues. Today we're going to review question 59 from the October 2019 exam. The category is Practical Exercises. The question is, what is the manufacturer ID? And they provide us with the name and the address to build it. They also give us 5 multiple answers to pick the correct one. Also, this exercise comes with a commercial invoice, and here we can verify that they did provide us with the correct information, since the MID has to be built upon the exporter's information. The manufacturer ID can be found in your regulations. Always remember to gather all your materials in order to answer these questions, and all your data, of course. You can find it in CBP Form 7501 in the instructions, specifically in the Appendix 2, and also on CFR 19-102.25. Now that we have our information, we can start building our MID. I find that it's much more useful to just build it all together, because sometimes when they provide you with the answers, they'll exchange one number and it might throw you off. So it's more safe to build it all together, in my view. So the manufacturer ID is an alphanumeric code, which is 2 characters for the country, 3 characters for the first word of the name, 3 more characters for the second word of the name, 4 numbers for the address, and 3 characters for the city. If we look at our country, which would be the first part of our manufacturer ID, we have Venezuela. Remember, there is an exception. It is Canada, and there is a list. So make sure and you check that out if you have Canada. Now for the 3 characters of the name. If you only have one word, then you'll just only have 3 characters. If you have initials, 2 or more, put them together and treat them as a single word. Do ignore the English words a, an, and, of, and the. And portions of a name separated by a hyphen should be treated as a single word. If you find numbers in the name, treat them as letters. And do exclude certain words. Like in Macau, a lot of textile factories start with the same words, Fábrica de Artículos de Vestuario, which means factory of clothing. So you have to ignore that. In Indonesia, they begin with the prefix PT. Ignore that. In Russia, they use other prefixes such as JSC, OAO, OOO, and ZAO. We have to ignore those altogether and do not include them in the manufacturer ID. For us, it does apply. So we're going to ignore Fábrica de Artículos de Vestuario, and we're going to consider only TOB and JOB. So we're going to take 3 of the first letters of the first word of the name would be TOB, and then 3 for the second word of the name, which would be JOB. And that would be the second and the third part of our manufacturer ID. Now let's go to the address. Remember, here you have to focus on the street address line. Do not get confused with the zip code or any other numbers that you might find in your information. Please focus on your street address line. Find the largest number and then work with that. if you have a suite or a postal office number, which would be the bigger number, then use that. If you have any commas or hyphens, ignore those. In our case, we do have a hyphen. We're going to ignore it. And so our number would be 24. And that would be the fourth part of our manufacturer ID. I know it asks for 4, but we only have 2, so that's what we'll use. Now for the city. The city asks for 3 characters, the first 3 characters of the city. If you have commas or hyphens in your city, then ignore it. If you have numerals in the city line, they should be ignored as well. For city-states, use the country name. Like Hong Kong would be HON, Singapore would be SIN, and Macau would be MAC. As a general rule, ignore all punctuation such as commas, periods, apostrophes, and ampersands. Ignore all single character initials, and ignore leading spaces in front of any name or address. So here for our city, we're going to take the first 3 characters. It's going to be CAR for Caracas. And that's going to be the last part of our manufacturer ID. If we go back and look at our question and compare the answers to the manufacturer ID that we just built, we can see that the correct answer would be C. A pleasure to be with you. Thank you for joining us. Please remember, practice, practice, practice. Subscribe to our channel. Like if you found this video useful, and share with your friends and colleagues. Until next time.